And now, Yolanda Robert is standing by for the latest updates on international news. Yolanda, what do you have for us today? Welcome to Newsnight.
Thank you, Christian. At least 7 people have died after a ferry dock collapsed on Georgia's Sapelo Island during a cultural celebration on Saturday, local authorities have reported. Around 20 people fell into the water when the gangway at Marsh Landing Dock gave way, with multiple individuals hospitalized and search operations ongoing. U.S. President Joe Biden and Georgia Governor Brian Kemp expressed their condolences, with state resources deployed to assist. The cause of the collapse remains unknown, and an investigation is underway. The island's event was meant to celebrate the Gula Geechee community, descendants of formerly enslaved people. Large parts of Cuba are without power as Hurricane Oscar, a Category 1 storm, approaches from the east. On Friday, the country's largest power plant failed, leaving 10 million people without electricity, with only partial restoration before another blackout. President Miguel Diaz-Canel stated that authorities are focused on protecting people and resources as Oscar, packing 85 miles per hour winds, is expected to cause flash floods and mudslides. Food is getting bad, homes are without water, and schools and businesses are closed. Cuba's aging infrastructure and fuel shortage worsened the crisis. Meanwhile, in the Israel-Gaza War, at least 87 people were killed in an Israeli airstrike in Beit Lahia, northern Gaza, according to Hamas-run authorities. Though Israel claims the strike was a precision attack on a Hamas target and accuses Hamas of inflating the death toll, the UN warns that Gaza is increasingly unsafe as the conflict intensifies. In Lebanon, Israel resumed airstrikes on Hezbollah targets in southern Beirut, prompting evacuations in Haret and Hadith. Over in the U.S., Donald Trump is campaigning in Pennsylvania, attending a Pittsburgh Steelers NFL game before rallying supporters in Lancaster. Meanwhile, top Republican Mike Johnson faced questions about Trump's recent rally comment involving late golfer Arnold Palmer. On the Democratic side, Vice President Kamala Harris celebrates her 60th birthday and is set to appear in an interview with Al Sharpton. Early voting has begun in 26 states, with polls showing Harris leading Trump nationally, but the two are tied in key battleground states ahead of the 2024 election.
Everything they've touched, even now he's telling Israel, everything he said to Israel was exactly the opposite. He's the greatest. I will say this about Biden. He's the single greatest expert on foreign policy in history. You know what that means? If you did the exact opposite of what he suggested every single time, you'd go down as the greatest foreign policy president in history. If you did the exact opposite. Everything's a failure. And he's telling Bibi Netanyahu, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. All our great congressmen are there. And don't do any of these things. And Bibi didn't listen to him. And I tell you what, they're in a much stronger position now than they were 3 months ago. That's for sure. Nobody's ever seen anything like has happened. And Bibi called me today, and he said, it's incredible what's happened. They said, it's pretty incredible. But he wouldn't listen to Biden, because if he did, they wouldn't be in this position. I got great credit for the economy, for the military. We were in no wars. Think of it. I started no wars. Everybody thought I'd be like in a war. I'll be in a war in 2 days. No, it didn't work out. My personality stopped wars. Stopped wars. It stopped wars in countries that we weren't even involved. I was able to stop wars with other countries that we weren't even that involved with, just by making a couple of phone calls. I saved a lot of lives.
Well, thank you for joining me for the international news. I am Yolanda Robert. Back to you, Christian, for the rest of Newsnight.
Thank you very much, Yolanda. See you tomorrow. Bye.